All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out this evening to our flag retirement ceremony. As most of you guys have heard, this has been an ongoing process this whole semester and will continue to go on for the next semesters as far as we can continue to carry it. I want to thank, of course, Mr. Councilman. I want to thank the police chief for being here, and of course, our Mayor Motz, for being here as well this evening. We want to recognize those persons being here on a busy schedule that they have. Where there's going to be a whole steps in this process, and here they are. We're going to go ahead and have an invocation real quick. We're going to go through the Pledge of Allegiance, which we can make sure we get a flag up here for this flag retirement ceremony. So if you two want to come on up, we have a flag right here. We have a flag right here that we'll use during that. We're going to go through the history of the flag, some flag etiquette. We'll most likely go to the flag etiquette because our keynote speaker tonight will be our advisor, Mr. Shoup, and he'll be going through the different things that happen to our flag and other flags and the history of our flag. Obviously, we're going to go through the Restore the Glory, how we're doing currently. The dedications that the flags that we have retired or we're going to be retiring this evening are all in this bin right here. And of course, we're going to go outside. It may be a little cold, so bear with us. We'll retire one flag, and then after we're done retiring that one flag, everyone is free to leave. However, we will continue to retire flags as the evening goes on. So if you'd like to stay around a little bit more, or if you'd like to ask questions while we're out there, we'll be retiring more flags as the evening goes on. So if I go ahead and invite Ivan on up to give the invocation for this evening, and then we'll go on to saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Porter.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for letting us gather here today in this flag retirement ceremony and bring us all as one. I pray, Lord, that we could just, recognize those who have gave their lives for this country, Lord, and for those that are serving, present, and who have dedicated their lives and serving our country with honor, loyalty, and respect. I pray for those that have, that's given their lives and we have lost. But I pray that you watch over their families and you can give us strength, Lord, each and every day. Give us strength, guidance, and wisdom as well. In Jesus' name we all pray. Amen.
This is one of the flags that we have been using. For those of you that aren't familiar right away with our what we're doing, this is a flag. It's called Annan flags. They've flown flags basically since the Civil War. They've been making flags. So that's a flag we'll go ahead and do this evening. If you please stand. Go ahead and remove any hats other than military back there. So you place your hand over your heart and go ahead and start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. So one of our main things that we started out with during this project was the flag etiquette that we saw. A lot of times people just had a worn flag. It's in Ohio, it's very windy outside. So a lot of times flags don't last for as long as they hopefully should. So a lot of times we just drove around, and as we were driving, we figured out that maybe sometimes it's people just don't know. So that's what we were here to do. And so some of the flag etiquette, some people already know, don't let the flag touch the ground. Only hang the flag upside down unless it's an emergency. There have been times where banks have been robbed, and sometimes the only way they can signal to people is a daily routine in small counties to put the flag up every morning at banks. And a lady actually put the flag up upside down when she went to go put the flag outside, and the robber had no idea, and the police were actually alerted to that location because they saw the signal for distress with the flag upside down. Not to carry the flag flat or carry it on things, using it as clothing, that's part of it. And don't store where flags can get dirty. A lot of times, sometimes when we fly the flag outside, it's next to a bush. That's also part of it. We want to make sure that the bushing isn't going to snag on the flag and then rip it. It's a lot easier to make it rip, and then it doesn't last as long. Not to use it as a cover, fasten it or tie it back as far as wrapping it around a pole and tying it down for the evening. The best thing to do when it's a windy evening or a bad storm is go ahead and take that flag down. don't draw on it or otherwise mark on the flag. It's kind of it's a symbol. It's not something that you would want to mark on or write things on top of. And then display the flag at night. Some people don't know, when you display the flag at night, we like to ask, and it's part of the flag etiquette, to have a light on the flag. A lot around Tiffin, we found that out, that a lot of people actually do understand that, and we see lights all the time pointed at flags. But if you don't, they just ask that you take it down at night. It's a simple 5-second, you take it right off the pole, take it inside, in the morning when you come out, you put the flag right back up. And then next we'd like to go ahead and introduce our keynote speaker for this evening. It's going to be John Shoup. He is our advisor for the Student Veterans Organization here on Tiffin University campus, and also as a professor of chemistry. He's been a huge help for us. We talk and we make fun sometimes of the fact that where we would be without Shoup. Sometimes before we met him, we were Shoupless. It's just kind of our saying that we've had because we have these ideas, and some of us military guys are pretty one after another type, and we need someone else that can think outside the box every once in a while to give us some ideas. So prior to it being called Restore the Glory, it was actually called the American Flag Replacement Project, or something along the lines of that. It was very dull and bland, and he came up and he said, let me think of a name, and we'll make it look good. So go ahead and introduce John Shoup this evening as our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Tyler. First of all, for my students who are here today, if you haven't signed in, don't do it now. Notebooks are up here, all right? When you leave, when we're done out there, come back and sign out, okay? Thank you all for being here. Thank everyone else for being here as well. I really appreciate it very much. Part of the, and my seniors today, we talked about great ideas. When you have a great idea, what you do with it, and how you present it, and so on and so forth. When Tyler had the idea about the flag project, I said, that's a great idea. Now what do you do with it? And that's part of what we have done today. And all this came from Tyler. I was just a little guy with some ideas to put into it. But anyways, today, and some of you in my class, this could be a extra credit question on the exams tomorrow. So pay attention. We're going to find out the history of the flag, what it means, how it evolved, first of all, and what it means to many people, both foreign and domestic. So here we go. Page down. Here we go. First of all, it's a very unique flag. You'll see most of the countries have just stripes, maybe a few stars here and there, maybe a cross or so on and so forth, but they're all pretty much like that. We don't have anything like that. The reason why I bring this out is because the people who came up with the idea of the United States, 200 and some odd years ago, had a great idea. Think about it. Let's have a country where we can go and be free to do what we want to do. That's a great idea. How do you symbolize that? That's the problem. What kind of flag are we going to have? Think about the evolution of your idea that you talked about today in instrumental. Think about the evolution of this idea, this country. What are we going to do? How are we going to start it? What kind of flag are we going to have? This is all about that evolution. So let's go back to England. We brought together St. George's Cross flag of England and St. Andrew's of Scotland. You bring them together, you get the Union Jack. That's how they created it. That's the history of the Union Jack. That's the United Kingdom, okay? So then from there, what Benjamin Franklin was saying was, British is going to try to split up our colonies. It's called unite or join or die, calling the snake. If we stay together as one, we can win. If they slice us up and favor one of the states or the other colonies, we will die. That's a very big symbol. That was one of the very big symbols of this country back then, developed by Benjamin Franklin. Then, the Liberty Tree. You've seen this flag perhaps way back when. This was before we had anything else to do with the United States, the Liberty Tree. Where it came from was, there were people called the Sons of Liberty who met in Boston under this huge tree in downtown Boston. And they met there, and they would raise a pole. They had a pole, well, they put a flag on a branch, and they would, as a red flag, and that meant you come there to the meeting to discuss how to create the United States. This is way back in the 1750s. The British got wind of this. They chopped the tree down. The colonists rebelled against it and said, we will always have this tree. That's what's called the Liberty Tree flag. That's where it came from. When they chopped the tree down, they couldn't put the flag up anymore, so they put up a pole, and then from the pole they flew a flag with these 9 stripes, symbolizing the 9, at the time, colonies that were united again. And they kept meeting underground and so on and so forth. After that, then, this is the first official flag in January of 76, before we were Declaration of Independence. January 76, this was the first official flag that was actually on ships and on uniforms, green and white. Once again, the Liberty Tree. That meant a lot to the people in the colonies at the time. This was the Battle of Bunker Hill. They decided to put this, there was a couple different versions of this, but the red one symbolized the United States with the flag in the corner. But what this did was it confused some of the Brits because it was a red flag. And from a distance, you can't tell if it's friend or foe. So this is why they had some version of this, which was the blue one. It wasn't the blue one, it was the red one. This is what raised on Bunker Hill by the colonists. Here are some versions of it too, the merchant stripes. And once again, the don't tread on me. When you have the snake in there again, once they're trying to find the right combination of colors and symbols to represent the new country. Now, this is, please listen up students, the term is called vexillography. It means making a flag. That could be 4 points tomorrow. Vexillography. Before you had sewing machines, you had to make the flags by hand. There were two types of flags. The formal flag, which is made with expensive silk, ceremonial flag. Expensive silk, took a long time to make it. Then you had the utilitarian flag, made of wool. The wool would be on a fort, it would be on a ship, anywhere they could make it because it was quicker to make with wool. Wool was less expensive than silk. So vexillography is the art of making a flag. Now, this was the very first flag that they came up with to represent the United States. This one was in 1775. It was called the Grand Union, the Continental, and so on. This was important because it brought the Union Jack in with our stripes. People didn't like it because it still had the memory of England with it. So they liked the stripes, but it was never really a first official flag. The Maritime Committee approved it, but they were still kind of thinking, you know, this doesn't have a very good image for us. It has a memory of where we were and not where we're going. So, this is the first official flag of the United States. 13 stars, 13 stripes, representing the colonies of the United States back then. Legend has it, I was told this when I was in second grade, that Betsy Ross did the first flag. They don't know if she made the first flag. It was designed by Francis Hopkinson. And the Second Continental Congress of 1777 approved it on June 14th of 1777, hence to be known as Flag Day. That's why Flag Day is on June 14th. They said that the United States will be the flag of the United States will be 13 stripes, alternating red and white, with 13 stars in a blue field, representing a new constellation. So it took a long time to get to this point. Notice there's no tree, there's no Union Jack, there's nothing. This is a brand new flag. The reason why this is important is because you can expand. Think about this. It's a young country with a lot of land beyond these colonies. You can expand this flag to incorporate more states into the Union. That was significant at the time. The only person to serve under this flag was George Washington. Next, they would vary the theme a little bit. This is all about the 13 stripes and 13 stars, but these were flags that they didn't have anything set in stone just yet, so they're trying to vary it and so on and so forth. A couple different changes of that. Then, in 1795, Kentucky and Vermont were admitted to the Union. So they said, let's make 15 stars and 15 stripes, because we had 13 before, now we have 15. It looks a little bit busy. The problem was, if they kept doing this, you'd have 50 stripes and 50 stars. It's not going to work. But this flag is important because in the Battle of Fort McHenry in 1812, this flag was made, Mary Young, I can get this right, Mary Young Pickersgill of Baltimore, who was a flag maker, a vexillographist. She was ordered to make a flag to fly over Fort McHenry. This flag inspired the Star Spangled Banner. This flag was 30 feet by 42 feet, made by hand. The stars were 2 feet in diameter. The stripes, let me get this right, were 2 foot wide stripes on this flag. Remember, 15 stripes, 15 stars. Huge, huge flag. This is why when Francis Scott Key saw it, he could see it by the dawn's early light, by the rocket's red glare, because it was so big. Took her 4 months to do it by hand. She charged the United States government $409.50. In that time period, it's a lot of money. But it took her that long to make it. We keep going. The 20-star American flag. This is back when the Ohio was then admitted into the Union at this point. So we have now 20 stars, 20 states as we go through it. The 23-star American flag, we had a mission of Maine and Alabama. The free and slave states were now balanced, but with the addition of Maine, the Union held a majority of free states. That's significant because we had a Civil War coming up. Notice the different constellation up there for the stars. 23 stars, they didn't say you had to have them in rows, they just said to have 23 stars. Now, in this flag, the 24-star flag, this inspired the term Old Glory. Shipmaster Captain William Driver saw it on a ship and called it Old Glory is flying, and that name stuck. You don't hear other countries calling their flags Old Glory, but this one did back in 1822. The 33-star, this was in the Battle of Fort Sumter, the first battle of the Civil War. Notice the arrangement of the stars, not in rows, anywhere they want to do it. That was in the Battle of Fort Sumter. Now, during the Civil War, when the Civil War began, people had a problem with it because 11 states seceded from the Union. Lincoln was asked to take 11 stars off the flag. Do you do that? That was a difficult thing to think about doing. If we take those 11 stars out, they don't belong to us anymore. The symbolism of doing that was very difficult, and Lincoln said, no, it's the Union. We keep it together, the stars remain, hoping that they will come back. That was significant. Now, the 34-star flag. Do I have this one? Let me switch real quick. I'm going to get the next one. Okay, here we go. Now the Civil War starts. Notice the similarity, the stars and bars. This was the first Confederate flag that was flown. Note you have seven stars for seven states in the Confederacy at that time. This one was called the Stainless Banner. Tell me what's wrong with this flag. Can anybody? It looks white. It looks like a surrender flag. That's why they didn't want to use it. When you had this flag in battle, people are thinking the South just surrendered. That's a mistake. You don't want to have someone design it. I want you to have a big white field and put the thing. Yeah, it'll be good. We'll go with that. Sure. No. Not a good idea if you're battling people. I give up. Here's my flag. I mean, seriously, that's what it looks like. So they changed it and put a red stripe on the end of it to make it not look like you're surrendering. We have a couple more stars on there, a couple more states in the Confederacy at that point. Then this is the final flag. This flag never really flew during the Civil War, but this is what people think of when they think of the Confederacy in the South. Okay, now, the 35-star. This was flown over Fort Sumter when the Civil War was over with. When Fort Sumter then was freed from the Confederacy, this is the flag, the 35-star flag that was raised over Fort Sumter. Notice a different arrangement of stars again, not like you see today. The 36-star American flag, when Lincoln was assassinated, they took the flag from his suite, or the balcony he was in, cradled his head in the flag of 36 stars while he was dying. That's a symbolism of the 36-star American flag. The only type of flag that Lincoln served under was 36 stars. Now, the longest running flag at that time, without change, was the 48-star. This is all the lower 48s. This had been in service for 47 years, from 1912 to 1959. Significantly long time. We haven't had many changes since then. The lower 48 are set now. Then we have Hawaii and Alaska come in. From that, the 50-star American flag. This is what we all know today. Notice the arrangement of stars and stripes. In 1912, William Howard Taft, the president, said we have to have the stars arranged in a certain way. They're going to be in rows. The official declaration of the flag now will have the stars in rows and the stripes in the same kind of how they have it today. 1912 it took. The 50-star flag was created by a 17-year-old in Washington State who predicted that Hawaii would be the 50th state. He wrote to Eisenhower with that prediction, and Eisenhower awarded him that he was there for the symbolism of the 50-star American flag. Remember, imagine a 17-year-old going to D.C. His idea came to fruition, and they singled him out. Tremendous. Anyways, okay. Now, what it means. This is significant. There are positives and negatives to the United States flag. For the service members and the veterans, they came home from the mission. It's a safe place, protection, the reason why they risked their lives in the first place. It means an awful lot to people who are on a mission overseas. This is a safe place to go. Mission accomplished, and so on. From the civilians and the citizens, accomplishment, we pledge of allegiance in the first and second grade. In mostly the Olympics, you put yourself in it, wrap yourself around it, celebrate the country, celebrate the pride, and so on and so forth. That's what we think of as civilians for the American flag. For foreign countries and people coming over here for citizenship, it means an opportunity to make a better life for their family. That's what the flag means to them. That's significant to them. For government services and members of foreign countries, it means aid. You see the American flag in a foreign soil, you know you're going to get some help. These are all positive images of the American flag. We know there are negative images. Here they are. For some service members and veterans, it's a reminder of difficult times and a symbol of being abandoned by their country. There are times when people don't want us to replace their flag. We've come across that. They do not want us to do that. They want to have that torn flag flying as a defiant gesture for them. That's okay. This country allows you to do that. When it comes to the civilians, it's a chance for them to express their displeasure with the situation. Whether they want to fly it upside down, burn it, walk on it, what have you. You have the right in this country to do that. That's the negative part of it. For governments, service members in foreign countries, it means, did I lose one? No. It means a chance to bring down the great and powerful and to show their own citizens why they should be reelected. These are all reasons and symbolisms of the American flag. Whether positive or negative, you cannot mistake the power of the symbol, which is why it should be taken care of and retired with respect. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And I give it back to Tyler.
Thank you, Dr. Shoup. Always has something good and positive to say out of I don't know how some days, but he always seems to have an idea on the top of his head and always goes to express that to us. And we always thank Dr. Shoup for everything he does for our small group right now. It's a small group, so as we expand, he'll help us even more. Restore the Glory, we're going to go over a couple things that have happened so far. As you see in this tub and that you will see outside, we have replaced a lot of flags so far. Not as much as we would hope for by now with our schedules and everything, but this summer gives us an opportunity to continue to replace flags in Tiffin and also to replace flags in the local surrounding area. But we definitely wanted to make sure it started here in Tiffin. So far, these are our colors here. As you can see, the green is where we've replaced them. We've replaced 6 flags so far. There are still 25 that need attention. We've acquired one that we still need to get out there and give them a brand new flag for what they've done. We have covered a little bit more area than we have previously. And of course, the purple parts are the parts that are already flying flags. We've also run into the situation where we go out to revisit a flag that we need to replace, and it's already been replaced by someone. And we thank them for flying the flag, and we hope that next time when we see the flag worn or torn, we can get there before maybe they get there, and we can help them a little bit. But over the summer, as it gets warmer, we'll see more flags coming out, and we'll see that there are a little bit more worn and torn flags out there that we will be replacing. And then, of course, the dedication to these flags. The flags that we've gone to people's homes and we've asked them, Shoup's also helped us come up with another idea. It's called The Stars Behind the Stripes. It normally runs every Wednesday, depending on how quickly we can get people's stories and have them check the stories that we write about them in the newspapers. They're actually sitting right out there next to the programs. It's in the Advertiser Tribune. It's called The Stars Behind the Stripes. It's people, they fly the flag for a reason. People normally just don't fly the flag. They normally want to support the servicemen or women, past and present serving. And as you see here are some of the names that these flags have been dedicated to, that the reason why they fly the flags. There are great stories that come out of Tiffin. We have stories of people that were POWs during World War II in Europe that then served under Patton. We have people that have helped freed Paris with their tanks. We have people that were recon elements during D-Day, prior to D-Day, to get the maps that lay out what we invaded in France. He actually was a part of a recon team that set up those pictures. Those are the kind of stories that we are encouraged to see behind the flags and why people fly these flags out there. So if you have any questions, they're online, I know, with the Advertiser Tribune, and they're actually right out there on the table. Feel free to open them up real quick, look at them, take it in a little bit. It's very humbling sometimes. We came up with this idea. Manzella and I were riding to BG as we go every Thursday for ROTC and ran into a couple flags that were worn and torn. And I said, hey, why don't we replace like 1 or 2 flags? Wouldn't that be cool? You know, to replace 1 or 2 flags. we keep making purchases of more flags, and we keep replacing more flags than we ever could imagine to begin with. And that's kind of how the idea came about. And with the support of Shoup, and I know we went to the North Central Ohio Conservatives. We went out there and pitched our idea. We went to a Rotary Club, and we pitched our idea there too. And we said, what do you guys think? And the outpour and support that came back on us, and definitely City Council and the mayor and those different things, the support that came back to us said, hey, this is a great idea, and we should continue with it. And we are encouraged, and we will continue with this idea over time, and hopefully in the next couple semesters. I'd also like to thank, before we move outside, we have the president of the Student Veterans Organization in the back, Mike Porter, our student gov rep in the back. Our treasurer couldn't be here this evening, but if you've been a part of helping set this up this evening, if you just quick stand, I'd like to thank you for helping us. I know our web designers, if you could stand, I think they're actually all standing in the back already. So I just like to give them a quick round of applause. It's just a thank you because they've spent so much time doing different things for our organization, whether it was setting up the food and AVI with Denise, or whether it was setting up the fire pits and getting it outside. I know someone's out there watching it currently. It's a little cold. We won't keep it much longer out there. And we also want to go over what's going to happen outside. What will happen outside is we'll take an American flag donated by Mike Gibbons, the Marine we have here. We will be taking each stripe off one by one, placing it for representing each colony, and Shoup will be announcing the colonies, their date that they joined the Union, and what they are, the different states that they are. So Sunshine State, some are the Empire State, those different things. You'll hear that out there. And then at the very end, we will retire all 50 stars into the fire at once, at which time taps will be played by our wonderful John Allen being here this evening to play taps for us. And at the beginning of the ceremony, we'll be singing we'll have the group sing the national anthem, and at the end, their second song. So one last thing, if you go out there and grab the flag that's on the table in the box real quick. Nancy Bailey is, if you have to come up here, and her son, come on up here real quick. We met these two when we were making our first pitch, and we told them that we'd make sure we acquired something for them. You want to bring it up here, Porter? So before we go outside, we were encouraged by the story, and she's worked here on campus, and we wanted to make sure we got a flag and also in a case for her and her son. I believe this will go to her son because she already has one, so we want to make sure you get one as well. So we just want to say, I believe it's your husband, correct, for his service, and then for him passing away. We were encouraged by his story, and we really appreciate everything you did, and everything you did for Tiffin too.
He would have loved to have been here, and what you've done, I think, is just absolutely fantastic.
So we thank you very much, and we thank you for his service. So here you go, ma'am. We'll go ahead and make our way outside. Please stay as you have a good perimeter around the fire pit for the retirement of the flags. And pause.
What so proudly we hail the twilight's fast gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous dark. For the ramparts we lost were
This time we're going to have Professor Shue step up. He has the rundown on how this is going to go. Go ahead.
Okay, the first colony, aka the first state. Who can guess what it was?
Virginia.
Delaware. Also known as the first state. Now you know. That could be an extra credit question.
What was it again?
Delaware.
There's a town in Ohio called Delaware.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I drive through all the time. Hopefully we're not gonna have to remember what's the fourth one. First one, maybe. Last one, right?
The second state, Pennsylvania, also known as the Keystone State.
I don't know the state. Keystone State. I'm gonna ask him. Can we get copies of
It's the third state, New Jersey, known as
Garden State.
the Garden State.
He's like,
It's one I know. It's the only one I got.
The fourth state, Georgia, also known as the Peach State.
here, take one.
Ohio or Michigan. Or South Carolina.
The fifth state, Connecticut, also known as the Constitution State.
The Constitution was signed in Philadelphia. That's what
The sixth state, Massachusetts. Eric, give me the name. What do they go by? Massachusetts goes as the Davis.
My name's Aaron.
Why is he so
Just one guess.
Massachusetts.
Not Red Sox, no. The Bay State. Got it. It's all right. Number 7, Maryland, also known as the Old Line State. I don't know where that is.
Rhode Island.
South Carolina, known as the Palmetto State.
I feel like I'm not American. I feel like I should know this.
Number 9 is New Hampshire, also known as the Granite State. Number 10, Virginia, also known as Old Dominion.
There's a college called Old
Julie Banks, New York. There we go. Thank you for cooperating. We have some parting gifts for you. Number 12, North Carolina, also known as the Tar Heel State. Who can guess the last state? Rhode Island. Known as the Ocean State.
Process of elimination.
And now the 50 stars were retired at the same time.
Freeze, head, halt! Order off. Howdy. At this time, we thank you guys for all coming out here this evening. It's a little cold out here, but we will be around here still, retiring flags as the evening goes on. For those of you that need to sign up and shoot here, please sign out, and they're going to go ahead and sing a parting song as we head out here. So thank you for